Hey everyone, I'm Renato, the Football Bulletin. And as we know every year in football's unpredictable. I'm going to make 10 bold predictions where either all of them are going to be correct or absolutely none of them will be correct. But I'm leaning towards the former because, I'm never wrong.
What the f*** is this?
What?
What the f*** is this?
So let's get into it. Starting off with my first bold prediction, I think Jude Bellingham's not going to win one, but two golden boots. Now hear me out. Alright, the Pichichi race is pretty close. Jude Bellingham is ahead at the moment, and I think it's going to continue in 2024. Now, I think he's going to win the Pichichi in La Liga, and I think Real Madrid will steamroll to La Liga. I honestly will. I don't think Girona will put up much of a fight at the end. However, I think this season's going to be a low-scoring Champions League in terms of who's going to finish in the Golden Boot race. Sure, maybe Haaland or maybe Kane might pop off for 5 goals, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I think it's going to be a low-scoring one, and I think he's going to win the UCL Golden Boot with 7 to 8 goals. Prediction number 2. Real Sociedad is going to be a semi-finalist in this year's Champions League. Now, yes, you guys might be looking at me crazily, but let's be honest. How open is the Champions League every year? We've seen teams like Inter, Spurs make a final. We've seen Villarreal. We've seen Monaco. We've seen Ajax make semifinals. Why can't Real Sociedad be the team of the upsets this year? Now, granted, they are going up against PSG in the round of 16, where I have them winning. And I'm sure they're going to upset someone else or maybe get an easy draw in the quarterfinals. But I think this year is destined for them to make a semifinals push. Players like Kubo, Orasibal, Lenormand, Mikel Moreno. There's a lot of great players on this team. Don't sleep on them. My third bold prediction, and now you guys are really going to call me a lunatic for this one, but I think Chelsea will finish 7th and win the Carabao Cup. We're watching a team actually beat Manchester United for most dysfunctional, but just trust me on this one. I think they're going to get it together. As I've said about many of my shorts on Instagram, check out my Instagram by the way, I don't think Chelsea are as bad as people say. I know they have a lot of flaws and I know they have spent GDP of small countries on various players, and I think they'll get it together enough where they're going to win a trophy this season and finish in the Conference League spot. I know, radical. The second half of the season could be special. They have a semi-final against Middlesbrough, which I think they'll win, but they have to play a final against who's most likely going to be Liverpool. And I really think Chelsea are going to pull the upset. It's fun to root for an underdog, even if that underdog has spent $1 billion and is probably ruining football. My fourth bold prediction, it's not really that bold, but Bayern's going to win the Champions League. Yes, I know Manchester City looks strong. Sure, Arsenal look threatening. Real Madrid is always going to be a contender. But I think it's the Bavarians that are going to win the Champions League. Now, why are they going to win the Champions League, you may be asking? I think Harry Kane's going to take them to the next level. If you watched the quarterfinal last season against Manchester City, sure, Upamecano became Upa Maguire. I really think it's because they lacked a goal threat. In that first game, they were going to toe-to-toe with City, but it just didn't happen. And now you put in one of the 2 best strikers in football, Harry Kane, onto this Bayern team with Sané, with Mathys Tel, with Serge Gnabry, with all their attacking talent. And if they just make a push to get Paulinho in the January transfer window, I think this team is set. Fifth bold prediction. I think Brazil's going to have a bad Copa America. I think they'll make it out of the group because their group is, well, let's be honest, it's not hard. Colombia will give them trouble. Paraguay is always decent enough to put up a fight. I think they'll win that group. It's what happens in the quarterfinals where I think it gets crazy. Now, they will most likely face either the United States or Uruguay. And honestly, I think they're going to lose to one of those two. If they go against Uruguay, I think Uruguay's going to beat them. If they go up against the United States in the United States, I think the United States is capable of a shock. I know the USMNT fans are going to call me crazy for thinking the United States is actually going to beat a big team. But I think this is the year. And I think it's also going to help Greg Berhalter keep his job, which I hope he leaves. For prediction number 6, I think Portugal's going to make the Euro final. I think this is going to be Ronaldo's last dance. Unfortunately, there's not a happy ending here. It's like most tournaments this year. I think the Euros are pretty wide open. Yes, France and England, they're going to be favorites. But I think it's going to be Portugal that goes to the final. Goes to my next prediction. I think Mbappe is going to have the year of his life. As I mentioned earlier, Real Sociedad is going to make the semifinals. So that means that Mbappe's UCL journey this year is going to end quite early. And he's just going to continue that Parisian European heritage. But I do think the Euros is where he's going to shine. I think he's going to carry that momentum that he's had from the qualifiers since the World Cup. And he's just going to shine in this tournament. This is going to be Mbappe's tournament. He's probably going to win the Golden Boot. I think he's going to get the player of the tournament. And France is going to win the Euros. I think this is the year Mbappe wins the Ballon d'Or. Oh, and he'll also get that move to Real Madrid that we've talked about for a decade now. Yeah, this is the year it happens. Trust me on this one. I know what I'm talking about.
How many times
I've been saying this for about 7 years.
teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
Now moving over to South America, I think this is going to be the year where we see a Uruguay-Argentina final. The most played Copa America final throughout history. I think Uruguay and Argentina are going to make it. Uruguay's going to make it because of Brazil's implosion, and honestly, they're the only team that can really challenge Argentina at the moment. I don't think they're going to beat Argentina, but I think Uruguay, this is the year that they make a special run. Maybe this is going to be Suarez's last dance. Spearheaded by Valverde, Darwin Nunez, and Araujo, I think the spine of this team is strong enough to compete with anyone in the world. But they're going up against probably the best team in the world right now, which is Argentina. Messi and Argentina are going to get yet another trophy. This becomes a dynasty at this point. Now for my final two predictions, we're going to go back to the Euros because let's be honest, the international tournaments are going to be the biggest thing that happened this year. And I think the flop of the Euros is going to be England. One of the top two favorites to win the Euros is going to flop. Now I think they're going to make it past the groups, but I don't think they're going to make it past the round of 16. There's just something in me that tells me Southgate's luck is finally going to implode, even with such a talented team. Even though they have the likes of Kane, Bellingham, Rashford, Foden, etc., I think they're going to implode against a team that no one's going to suspect. I think Belgium's going to be the shock team of the Euros. I think they're going to be a team that no one sees coming because they've been on the decline and their golden generation is aging out. But I think with the spine of De Bruyne, Lukaku, Doku, I think they can make a surprise run. They're a younger team now, with different players, yes, and different manager, but I think they have enough in them to shock the world. I can see them making the semifinals of this Euro and surprising everyone. So what do you guys think of my predictions? Do you guys agree? Disagree? Let me know down in the comments and write your bold predictions because I'd love to see what crazy events do you see happening in the world of football this year. I'd love to know. So write that in the comments. And this is a new channel, so make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Any support I can get, I very much appreciate. We're growing here. Let's grow that TFB family. Talk to you guys later.